Alrighty, so let's get this started. First off, if people are all right to keep their cameras and their microphones off, and you can pop any questions or anything in the chat, and we will do our best to answer them. So I'm going to hand over to Mo and Jamel, who are our president and vice president of the Students' Union. So, lads, there, off you go.
Hello, my name is Moyin and Jamel. As you can see there, it's a great picture of me actually. I'm the Students' Union president, and I may just talk to you and explain a little bit more about what sports clubs and societies are and what we do in them.
Jamel?
Hello, my name is Jamel, and I'm the Students' Union vice president. And obviously, here on this call to obviously help you guys understand what we as an SU do, and obviously look forward to you hopefully coming here as well.
Excellent. Gabby?
So I am a student recruitment graduate intern. I also studied here, and generally just gonna talk about my experiences within the Students' Union and the clubs and societies that I was a part of, and answer any questions that you guys sort of have throughout this whole presentation.
And I'm Jess. I'm a student recruitment and admissions graduate intern. It's the longest job title ever. And I am currently still a student at the university. I'm doing my master's. And so I've got another student view on the SU. So quite a different one to Gabby as well, but we'll get into that. So let's go. Off you go, lads.
So what's the Students' Union? It's, as the name says, it's a union for students. It's a group of students. And our role is to represent students in academic matters, welfare matters, to ensure students are represented equally and very fairly across all matters across the university. So to do that, I send different meetings and stuff. We're led by students and ran for students. So I was a student there. This is my second year in office, so been here for 5 years. And I would say if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here for the extra 2 years. So that's like a very just important way of other universities in the SU helped me out through a process at university as well, where to ensure that students have the best time possible at university, because I enjoyed my 5 years. I'm sure Jamal, Gabby and Jess can say the same as well. So we're trying to elevate that experience as well for next students coming through, because it's not about replicating, it's about making sure it's better for them coming through. Next slide.
Very good, lovely.
So obviously you've seen University of Chichester Students' Union, so like Mo said, run by students for the students. So obviously you can see from the pictures, obviously on your screen, obviously we run events, so for example, like Freshers Week, Christmas Ball, Rag Race Summer Ball, and obviously during the year we obviously do theme nights, so like alternative socials, club nights, open mic, karaoke nights, and then quiz nights and many more. So there's a good example of all the events that we run.
Yeah. Gabby, did you go to any of the events or anything?
So I went to pretty much the majority of the events on the screen. The regular theme nights are a really good way of ensuring that you balance your work and your social side of university. The quizzes and the club nights were the ones I attended the most, and generally I would just go with my friends or with my sports team. And the bigger events that are ran throughout the year, such as Christmas Ball, Summer Ball and Rag Race, are good ways to sort of celebrate the end of each semester, and just kind of relax a little bit after handing in all your assignments and things like that. But yeah, generally the Students' Union put on so many different events, and the best thing to do is try to attend as many as you can, or as many as you're interested in. That's one thing I would recommend. It's a great way to sort of relax yourself and ensure you don't work too hard. You do have to have like a bit of a balance, and that's important as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I come in?
Yeah.
So I mean, the university first and foremost is about education and learning about what course you've chosen, but the social aspect is also very important, because you really make friends for life. I've got course mates and like different people at this university, because we're so small, it's very personal, it's very interpersonal, that I still talk to this day, like 2-3 years on. We've got plans, obviously like video chats and stuff because of COVID and what's going on, but it's about interacting with different people that you wouldn't have thought you'd have interacted with before. And the SU provides so many different opportunities, those that are on the screen and many more that students want to run, just so you can interact and meet different people. And it's just such a good opportunity, because that social aspect is as important as the education aspect as well.
Yeah, definitely. I agree completely. So tell us about all the events that you've done this year in particular.
So this year's been very difficult because COVID is a thing. So we can't really do our club nights or our bar nights. But where we could, we've tried our best to run them as safe as possible. So following all the guidelines, we've got screens and masks and sanitizing stations everywhere. But we've done more smaller things that we know can manage easy. So like weekly quizzes, weekly bingo, which has been very popular, coffee mornings, so like catch-ups, welfare checkups with students as well, because this is a very strange transitional period for first year students, but also now second and third year students, because it's about ensuring people are well-being, like they're safe and looked after as well. During freshers, we had freshers week, so that's where the sports and societies try and vie for people's attention, like pick me. So it could be the basketball team, the football team, netball team, but you have an opportunity to walk around and go, what would I like to do? I might have done lacrosse in college before, but I want to try swimming, for example. That's a small joke because I actually can't swim, but I might want to try swimming or try something else that's different. So it really gives you an opportunity to look around what others are doing. That's a good thing about well. We had golfing, we had free gym sessions, we had yoga, art classes, sports taster sessions, society taster sessions as well. So you can kind of get an idea of what something is before you go all the way into it. But to be honest, you can be in part of the football team, but that doesn't mean you want to know someone from cheerleading, for example, because again, it's such a close-knit community. It's like a strange family, a very good strange family that everyone gets to know everyone. You get to like support your teammates or support your friends because it's just a very inclusive and caring environment as well.
Very good.
Obviously, so who runs the student union? So obviously we've got two elected officers, so Mo and myself. Obviously, Mo's the president and I'm the vice president. Obviously, we're supported by a team of part-time officers. So, for example, we have a team of like, obviously got examples of officers like obviously LGBTQ plus officer. We have a postgrad officer. We also have an activities federation president as well. So they are students, they're current students that kind of volunteer their time to put on events and run campaigns with us. Obviously, we've got a team of full staff members, so most of the stuff that me and Mo do obviously wouldn't happen without them. Obviously, they help and support us in the best way that they can. And obviously, anything that we want to do, we kind of go to them for advice, and they give us to kind of tell us what we can and can't do. Obviously, we represent your views to university, and obviously, campaign on issues is important to you. So, especially going into the second semester, so after Christmas, Mo and myself are really focusing around like mental health, because obviously these are strange times, as Mo's already covered earlier, like, and COVID's made it really difficult. So make sure people's mental health are okay. Make sure you're checking up on your housemates, your friends, and just make sure you give them a phone call, drop them a text message, and encourage them to obviously have a conversation and talk about how they're feeling. Ultimately, we want you to have the best experience possible while at university. So yes, your experience might not be the same as anyone else. So Jess and Gabby, they did different courses, they had different experiences. But we want to make sure that their experiences are the best they possibly can be.
Yeah, so I wasn't part of a sports team, I wasn't part of a society, but I was the postgraduate students officer, so that's how I got involved in the students union. So I would go to the SU every now and then for like events and things, but my main part in the SU was being the postgraduate students officer, and I did that last year. And it was really, really good fun. And I'm not just saying that because Mo and Jamel are here and listening to me, but it was really good. So I campaigned for the role and I won it. I wasn't up against anybody, but still, I won it all the same. And it was really, really good fun just representing the views of the postgraduate students of the university. And annoyingly, COVID obviously got in the way of some of the plans that I had, but it was a really, really good year. I really enjoyed it. So that was how I got involved with the SU. So Gabby, do you want to have a chit chat about like sport teams and things?
Yeah, so the course I did was football coaching and performance, and therefore the team that I joined and spent the majority of my time with was women's football. But that's just one of many different sports teams, societies, clubs, student-led groups. We have lots of different things that you can join. You can also join more than one. So I chose just to join football, but you can join a society, a club. You can join two clubs. Generally, a lot of our sports teams, there is a competitive option and a more social option. If you decide to play competitively, they generally game days and match days in a normal year, so without COVID, which we've obviously had to adapt for. Normally, all those games would take place on a Wednesday afternoon. And again, all the societies, obviously, they don't have necessarily a fixture day, but they also have their own sort of timetable and schedule that they'll meet up and have various events or activities going on throughout the year. It's honestly, it's the best, for me, was the best part of university. I've met some of my best friends through joining the sports teams and people that I see all the time now, even though we're no longer at university. And you also have the opportunity to join something and start something new. You don't have to have already played a sport or been a part of a society similar to anything like that. You can join something completely new. And there are different levels within each club and within each team. So it's literally so inclusive for everyone. But yeah, that's my own experience. Was I absolutely loved every part of being part of the football team, and I'm sure, well, I hope a lot of my friends will say the same thing. Yeah.
Can I add on Gabby's point? So it's about student experience, like we said, continuously throughout this entire thing. So it literally takes 3 or 4 students to really come forward and be like, I like Harry Potter. Who wants to be part of an Harry Potter society? You get your group together, so you get the president, the secretary, and accountant, or something else. You have a Harry Potter society. It's just being formed now because you have similar interests with people. So we try our best to like link people and match people with people with similar interests or things that people wouldn't have thought about before as well. Recently, someone's trying to come up with a dodgeball society, which I believe is going to be running next year as well. So there's loads of different things, and they're run by students as well. So it's a student's the president, the student could be the coach, can hire an external coach. So we really give the power back to students to organize things. And it looks great in their CV as well, because you could be like, I was president of dodgeball for 2 years. I organized fixtures and whatever. We help you out throughout that process as well, but it's just, we try and make sure you have as much power and flexibility among that as well.
Fabulous.
So obviously Gabby and Mo have both touched on this already. Obviously student-led groups, obviously there's a wide range of choice. Obviously, yeah, student-led groups obviously are run by current students and anyone can join. Even if you want to try something different or try something new, you are welcome to join any of the clubs.
Yeah, it's just a little addition to what we've already said, really. I feel like we've covered this already, but yeah. I wasn't part of a sports team, so I can't comment on this.
Yeah.
I was part of the basketball team, and in my first day, I didn't have any role, like any IR role, apart from being part of the basketball team, and always being strapped up because I'm injury prone. But in my second year, I was the society officer, social officer, so like organizing organizing training sessions, but then like what we do after training sessions, making sure everyone's all right, checking up on people, the plans for after games were done, like what society could we like link with. So for example, if we wanted to do like a film night, the basketball was into a film night, we could go, oh, we can link with the film society. So we did things together. It was great fun. And then apparently people liked me enough to vote me vice president for basketball, and I guess the power got to my head, and I was like, I'll run for president. But it's been fantastic, because those kind of processes really lead you to think about other things and everything else as well.
Yeah, so when I was in football, I also had 2 different committee roles. So basically all the sports teams are ran by the students, like Mo touched on earlier, and there are lots of different roles varying in responsibilities. So there's a president and a vice president of most teams. I was vice president in my second year, and I just worked very closely with the president to ensure that everything runs according to plan, that everyone still enjoys playing, all of those little elements. There's also secretary, treasurer, more of a social sec, so someone who organises, like Mo just mentioned, a lot more of the social side of things, because it's not all about playing, it's also about having fun with your friends. And then there's also other roles, so there's like welfare officers, there's fundraising officers, there's kit officers, equipment officer. Pretty much all of these roles vary depending on the sport you're playing. But there's as much opportunity to get involved as you want. You're not forced into it. You just can go for a role if you feel like you'll benefit from it, or you think you'll be good for it. Again, it's a really good opportunity to have that little bit of responsibility, or none at all. But it was something that I definitely benefited from. It made me a little bit more, maybe like Mo said, a little bit more confident. I didn't quite go for president, but I, it gets you a little bit more confident. Yeah, there's another sort of question in the chat. So I'll just carry on with that. So in terms of like paying to join teams or societies, I'll talk about it from what I sort of did. You pay like a one-off membership at the start of the year for most sports clubs. That generally covers your match days, your training sessions, paying coaches, traveling to games if you have to travel quite far. That often, again, depending on the sport, will cover any match day kit that you wear. Some sports, you will have to pay for that on top of it. And other sports, again, you will probably pay for like a social kit, so something that you would train in, or something that I generally just wore pretty much every day. It's quite a nice feeling to have a kit on that a lot of people also wear, so you kind of like feel a part of a little group and a little team. But yeah, I don't know, Mo, did you have a similar thing with basketball, or Jamel with rugby, or?
Yeah, I had a similar thing with basketball. So the prices really range. I think we've come up with a different price structure that I should know, but can't quote off the top of my head. Don't want to misquote anything. But if you go to the UCSU website, which I think we'll plug at the end somewhere, you can see what the prices are. But yeah, so we had our social kit. So it was like a tracksuit kind of thing you wore around the canteen or wore around campus. Everyone's like, oh, they're part of the basketball team. Or it was good because you felt like part of a group, part of like a community, of a subcommittee of another community. It was great. It was a very good feeling as well. I'm pretty sure, Jamal, you played rugby, so you'll have a different perspective as well.
Yeah, so obviously rugby kind of similar to football and basketball, but yeah, like we had opportunities. So we paid off our membership opportunities to play for the local club in Chichester, so literally just across the road from the campus. So we had a good link there. So it kind of joining a sports team and obviously a club, you can obviously have opportunities to play outside of uni as well as just inside of uni as well.
Awesome. I'll move on to the next slide. So this is more about societies, which I wasn't a part of, but we have loads of different societies to essentially suit everybody. So like we've already said before, it's your chance to continue with something that you're already doing at college or school, or you can try something completely different. If you wanted to get involved with the Musical Theatre Society or the LGBT Society or anything, you can do it. And like Mo said already, it's really, really easy to start your own society. So if you wanted to start a society for anything, I can't think of anything silly off the top of my head, but all you need to do is find a group of people who are also interested in that thing, and you can start the society yourself. And similar to the sport teams, societies do have a fee, but it does vary depending on what the society is and what kind of things that they run. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, okay, cool.
Theatre, for example, because they do, traditionally, they've not been able to do this here. They do 4 shows a year, so they do 4 shows a year, 2 shows each half of the year. And my last 2-3 years, I've been to as many as I could because they're just fantastic shows. You wouldn't be able to tell that they're like ran by students. So it's like student directors, student like choreographers. They really put so much time and effort into it, and it really shows as well. But a lot of them have like big things at the end, loads of smaller things going out throughout. So the Esports Society is not the most recent one, but it's the fastest growing one because it's also linked in with the course as well. And they play games, they do chess, they do lots of different things that are going on. So there's always ways for you to interact as well. And you can, like Jess said, you can join at the start of the year, or you can join at any point throughout the year. You can be part of different societies or different student-led groups as well. So it's fantastic opportunities.
Yeah, definitely worth checking it out at the Freshers' Fair for sure. So this is just the general what it's like to live in Chichester. I can't remember if this slide is animated. It is. Oh dear. Okay, I'm gonna go back. There we go. Okay. Does anybody want to talk through this?
Yeah, I'll go. So obviously living experience around the Bishop Otter campus. Obviously you've got Fishbourne and Stockbridge are halls of residence. They are away from the campus, but they are obviously a short walk to the campus. Chichester Gates Entertainment Complex, obviously if you have some free time, obviously you want to obviously go out with your mates. Obviously you can go. We've got like bowling. Obviously there's Air Arena as well, quite close by. Obviously McDonald's, a KFC. So obviously quite a few things, few things for you guys to do. Also, Chichester's known to be one of the sunniest places in the UK, and so obviously popping down to West Wittering Beach. The picture in the bottom corner of your screen kind of shows what a day at West Wittering looks like. Obviously it's really fun, really fun. Obviously nice to get out and see the beach and obviously hang out with your mates. Obviously it's just a professional theatre, so we actually have a really good relationship with them, and you're able to get discounted tickets if you're a Chichester student as well. Obviously there's Goodwood, obviously which is really famous. A lot of events go up on there throughout the year. Obviously the Chichester Canal, South Downs, and then the city itself.
Sorry, is it okay if I go back just to answer a message I was putting in the chat?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, so we last year we have one of our officers, disabilities officer, put on sign language lessons, and I think we are looking to have a British Sign Language Society starting up because we've had loads of interest as well. And last year we did a recording of George, who was our previous disabilities officer, teaching sign language as well, British Sign Language. So we are looking to like make more societies, and it's really, again, it's student led. So if we can come up with loads of different things. I always say it's a couple of loads of different things. Like this would be a good opportunity, this would be good. But it's really back on the students as well. Like whatever they want to do is what our job, Jamal and I, is what our job is. So if a student feels comfortable enough or really wants either for them to host the lessons or bring someone external in, we would gladly go try our best to do as much as possible.
Anyway, so this is what the Bognor Regis campus looks like. So we have two campuses, one in Chichester and one in Bognor, and just a handful of things that we have down on the Bognor campus is the Sheik's nightclub, which is on the seafront, and they usually do a student night every Thursday, I believe it is. And we have a bus that goes down from the Chichester campus. Obviously that's not happening at the moment, but hopefully if we go back to some kind of normality, Sheik's will open up again. There's also the Picturedrome Cinema, which do really, really cheap tickets for the cinema. It's like £5 a ticket. It's really, really good. And it's really cute. I like it. The cinemas are really small. And opposite the campus, we have Hotham Park, which is a really nice place to go maybe between lectures if it's a nice day. And there's also the Pink's Ice Cream Parlour, which is run by one of our graduates. So that's really cool. And then just 915 steps away from the campus is our Bognor Regis beach. And from the tech park on our campus, you can see the beach, which is really exciting. And there's also the Regis Centre or the Alexandra Theatre, which is where a lot of our musical theatre shows happen. So usually students can get discounted tickets to go and see the shows. And so it's mainly a lot of our triple threat shows that happen in the Regis Centre, and they are definitely worth going to. Butlins is also a stone's throw away from the campus, and they have a lot of opportunities for part-time work while you're studying if you want to work in Butlins. And there's also the town centre and the train station too. So I can't actually see the chat, so between the three of you, if you can answer any questions that have cropped up, and if anybody does have any questions, do feel free to pop them in the chat.
Yeah. Where did you guys, where were you in halls for your first year? Should we talk about our different experiences of that? Like,
yeah, so I was in Stockbridge, which is approximately 20 minutes away from the no, not Bognor, which is 20 minutes away from the Bishop Otter campus. And I think it was myself and like 3 or 4 of the mates. We used to like walk through town, grab a coffee, or maybe like grab something from Costa or somewhere, and I walk into campus. It was a good way of just coming into campus, because I knew if I was on campus, I'll be very lazy and go, oh, it's only 5 minutes down the road, and I'll be very, very late. So it's not. So it was a very good experience. I really enjoyed it, and it's also a very good opportunity to like meet people as well, because so you get to like meet people like in your blocks or anywhere else. It's quite good. You were in Bognor, weren't you?
Yeah, so I actually started off on the Bognor Regis campus. Obviously, that was really fun. Obviously, you live with so Longbrook, which is one of the bigger halls on the Bognor campus. And then actually in my first semester, I moved over to Chichester, just because of the amount of time I was playing rugby and training. So I moved on to Chichester campus and lived on campus. I really enjoyed it, settled in really well, and it was nice just to be around student life. Obviously, at Bognor and Chichester are obviously both very busy campuses. But obviously my course was more based in Chichester, so it was much easier to be there. But yeah, obviously I didn't.
Jamel, were you catered when you were on campus?
Yeah, so I was catered, so obviously that was really fun. It meant that you could mix with people that were catered as well, so you didn't have to go to dinner with the people you live with. You can go to dinner with anyone else that was catered, and even if you weren't catered, you could sit in the canteen as well. So we kind of created like a little social group that would go to dinner at a certain time every day, and you kind of sit in the canteen. The food's obviously really good, really healthy. Obviously, a wide range of choices. So if you're gluten free or you're vegetarian, there's stuff for everyone. And yeah, I really enjoyed it and really enjoyed the food and the social aspect of living on campus.
Sick. I lived off campus. And my halls aren't halls anymore, but they were over by the Fishbourne halls, which were about a 35-minute walk away. My flat was quite small. There was only 3 of us, which actually was quite good. So it meant we kind of all knew each other and we got on quite well, even though we were on completely different courses. So one of us was history, one of us was vocal performance, and I was football coaching. So we were pretty much the most different subjects you could get, but we all still got on really well. And if I didn't live in that off-campus halls or in halls at all, I never would have sort of met those people. I quite liked living off campus to allow for like the separation of like study and living, so I could take like a nice little walk into uni. Not as nice when I was running late, but generally a nice relaxing walk to kind of like clear my head after lectures or walk back from football, any of those kind of things. But yeah, generally, I did enjoy living off campus. Also, to touch on the question that Chris has answered in the chat, I personally spent the majority of my time on the Chichester campus because of my course, but there is nothing stopping you from going on both campuses. The Students' Union on both campuses are available to everyone. The libraries you can use on both. Some people prefer to live in Bognor but study in Chichester, or vice versa. There really is no like right or wrong answer in that sense. You can kind of use the campuses as much or as little as you want, and it's down to the individual. But yeah, it does, more often than not, you kind of spend the most time on the campus where your course is based. But yeah, that can vary between each individual. Yeah. Anything else?
Kind of continue on obviously what Gabby was saying, like you can go to both campuses. So for example, I know that if there's a book in the Bognor library, obviously you can pop it and go to Bognor yourself, or you can get transferred over to Chichester campus. But also, like, especially for me, especially in as it got towards after exam time, and I was still around, obviously hadn't gone home yet for summer, I kind of went to spend some time on the Bognor campus, obviously went to the beach as well. So that opportunity to get a free bus in between both campuses obviously is there for everyone to use.
Did any of you guys have a job while you were at uni? How's that side of things?
I did.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So I had 2 jobs whilst I was studying.
Wow.
So I know. Yeah, get me. So I worked in the cafe at the Chichester Festival Theatre. So it's just opposite campus. So it was really easy if I was at uni for the day and I had a shift in the theatre at the evening. I could literally just walk across. It was like 5 minutes away, which was really good. And they were really, really flexible around my timetable, which was really handy. So it meant that the majority of the work was in the evening because it's a theatre, and by then all my lectures had finished. So, and like when it got to exam time and assessment time, I just said to them, look, I've got assessments coming up. Do you mind if I take a week off? And they were like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. It was a 0 hours contract, so it was really, really flexible. And then alongside that, I was also a student ambassador. So that was working the open days and doing campus tours and generally just chit-chatting about the uni. And so that was just another job I had alongside whilst doing my course, which was really, really good. And I really enjoyed both of them.
obviously kind of touching onto that, obviously I did work as well. So I worked at our local Tesco, so obviously one of our big ones. And obviously that was really helpful. I only worked 2 days a week, so a Friday night and a Sunday. So it kind of really fit around my rugby as well as my course. And like again, yeah, like in exam time, or if I had like a big deadline coming up, I kind of say to them, "Oh, can I have this day off, or can I take these amount of hours off?" And then so that was during obviously when I was in Chichester. Then when I went home, I had a different job in the summer and Christmas time, and they were really flexible about me going home and not working at Tesco's.
I too, like Jess, had two jobs. One was like a summerish kind of job at Goodwood, because Goodwood's kind of close as well. So it was like a kind of chaperone kind of job. It's good. It was very good tips. Just hint there. It's very good tips. And the second one was with I don't actually remember what the second one was. I think it was next to the bowling alley. I think it's probably closed right now, but because it's next to what's it called now? Next to Stockbridge.
Yeah. Chigate.
Chigate, yeah. So I had a job at one of the pubs at Chigate. It was 0 hours as well. But I think the way I met them was via the careers fair as well, which is like in the first couple of weeks of university as well. So there's a fair and you can like go because it's a good option to get a job during university time as well. It's very good. Met loads of people. You meet people that are also like uni students as well. So they might be second or third years in different courses. So they help you through stuff as well. So it's quite good. Very good. Is it easy to fit in social life? Yeah, yes. For me it was. It really depends on you as a person and if you're confident enough to like go and talk to your employer or work and just be like, I understand how to work because money is important in this world, but you've also got like a social life and education to fit in as well. And like most sports teams play on Wednesdays as well, so you just need to just be confident enough to go, this is my timetable, but I've also got a social life to fit around this as well. And most jobs, I think, around the area offer 0 hour contracts because they know there's a massive student population as well. Like most of our students, if you walk around town, work in most of the shops as well. So it's very flexible as well, from my experience. I'm not sure about anyone else's.
Yeah,
me too. Really flexible.
In my experience, I was a little bit more similar to Jamel in the fact that I'd use all of my like half terms, Easter holidays, Christmas, summer holidays to go back home and work solidly during those times, and then use my term time to do my uni work and my social life and play sport. So I kind of did it a little bit differently in that I tried to prioritize working in like more of a chunk at a time, and then saving that money and getting that through me, like that would get me through the semester. But people that I know have had lots of different experiences of it and are very find it quite easy to balance like a weekend job, play a sport, join a society, still do all of their uni work and attend lectures. It is definitely possible to do that. Yeah.
There's examples. So I know some students in music theatre, and their course is quite full on because it's about singing, dancing, and they've got long hours or longish hours. But I know someone who also does the music theatre course. It's part of the music theatre society, so more singing and dancing and everything else, and they work on the weekend as well. So like the society aspect is like the social life. They also have the social life with work as well, and with their course, and they seem to be able to like balance and juggle things quite well. And if there's any struggle or anything else, there's also the university's wellbeing team to like talk to. The SU teams also have to like talk either for you or like help you through situations as well, because that's, again, we're here about the experience part of everything else. We're here to make sure everything's as comfortable as possible. Try and make sure you don't juggle too many eggs. That's a terrible analogy for fumes to run in. Terrible analogy for me.
So are there any more questions in the chat that you three can see?
Not at the minute.
I think just kind of touching on what Mo was saying about support, obviously I think it's a kind of a credit. I don't know if you guys have done other talks, been to other talks, but like as a community, even as a sports team, if you don't join the sports team or society, you are part of something. Like obviously as Chichester, we are very friendly, and it doesn't mean you can't get involved. So if your flatmates playing, we'll go basketball, for example, you can go and watch, you can go and support. Or if they're part of a show, you can go watch them as well. So it's like, just because you aren't part of something, you can still join in things and you can still go to watch things and support the people around you and other members of the Chichester University community.
So,
do you want to ask?
Abby, what are you going to say?
Okay, so the nightlife in Chichester. There are different ways that you can look at this. I like to say that a night out is made by whoever you go with and wherever you go. So we aren't a big clubbing university. Not going to lie about that element of it. There's no point in lying. You would soon find out if you came anyway. But if you're looking to be clubbing every night, this is not the place for you. But if you still like to socialise and you still like to go out and you still like to drink, there are loads of different options in town. We have bars and pubs that are still open past 2 a.m, obviously in a normal year, as well as obviously the Students' Union, which does run club night events multiple times throughout the week. Me personally, while I was here, it suited me perfectly that it wasn't a clubbing place. If we did want to go clubbing for like maybe a birthday or a slightly bigger occasion or something like that, Portsmouth was only a 25-minute train ride away, so we could go to any of the clubs that are down that way. Otherwise, I generally spent most of my time in the Students' Union throughout the week, and then pubs or a couple of the bars in town on the weekend. And for me, that was all I needed. I was very satisfied with the nightlife. It is, like I said, what you make of it. If you throw yourself into these events that the SU hosts, if you make the most out of any of the live music in town, any of the club nights that are going on, any student nights with cheap drinks, all of those kind of things, you can still have a good nightlife. Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys agree, if you had different.
Yeah, I'm going to
did.
completely second you. So if I'd gone to a bigger university with like a nightlife kind of situation, I don't think I'm in the same situation I'm in now, because I think I know myself a little bit. But I found myself in that first week going, oh, there isn't like a nightclub or whatever, or anything else to do. Then the more friends I made, and the more it's about the people as well. Like the more friends I made and people that were close to me, I was like, it doesn't actually make a difference where I'm at. It's like the people I'm with, and like they made the experiences better. They elevated those experiences for me. And like we've got pubs and pub clubs in town, and we've got the SU bar as well on both campuses. But it was about also those people that I was with as well, because they made those experiences so much better. Like we would go out on a night, and every night for some reason would seem to be better than the last one, because we would just the jokes, the banter, the friendliness of everything else was just great. And if it was someone's birthday and we've been to the bar for like 2 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row, or something. Not 3 nights in a row. That does sound bad. Or like that does sound terrible. But we would go to Portsmouth or go to Brighton in extreme cases. So there were loads of different things to do, and it was just fun because you could always just go. Because Chichester's small, the university's small, but also the town's kind of small. But everything is like a rough 20, 15-minute walk away. So you could always like call a mate and go, should we go down to the bar, or should we go to the pub, or should we just go get a curry or something? So it was things you could just easily walk down to. It's quite decent.
But kind of adding on to that as well, obviously you do have Chic's kind of like a more of a nightclub. Obviously in Bognor, yes, if you live on the Chichester campus, obviously it's a bus ride over, and obviously then a bus ride back. But yeah, obviously that is their option there for you as well. But obviously it's like Mo and Gabby have been saying, it's about what you make it. Like you don't have to go out. You can just like sit in, for example. So I know that I bought a TV and a games console to uni, so I knew a lot of the lads would come around and we'd chill out and obviously play games and stuff like that. Or you'd go out, for example, in the evenings and chuck a ball around, or just like enjoy, go to Spoons or go to a local pub or something. So there's a lot there for you to do. It's just literally what you make it.
Yeah. To be honest, I keep just seconding what people are saying, not because I don't have my ideas, but it's so true. So one of my greatest memory of my first year, I think, was 3 months in. Myself and the previous vice president and like I think a bunch of our mates, we were like, let's set up a FIFA tournament. Who's got an Xbox and a TV? And luckily enough in Stockbridge, there were like 4 TVs. So we decided to set up, looking back, and it was so good, it was so great. We set up like a 40-person FIFA tournament and just took over the common room. in Stockbridge, and we were like commentating, and it was an incredible time because we weren't thinking. I think we were just sat in our rooms going, "What can we do? There's TVs downstairs. I know John's got an Xbox, and like Fabian's got something." So we literally just all got together, organised ourselves, and just enjoyed ourselves, and then went out to one of the bars. I think it was like 40 of us kind of almost took over like this bar, like following on like an hour after the tournament was over. It was great fun. It was jokes. It's about organising things yourself, but also like about who you're with as well, because that tournament wouldn't have happened without similar-minded people who like, let's make something out of nothing. It's great.
Thanks, Mo. So if there's no more questions, we will wrap this up. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for listening to us, and goodbye from all four of us.
Goodbye. Hopefully I didn't rant too much.
You didn't, don't worry.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.